Pat, how many board members do we have right now?
Let me check. Four. It looks like.
All right, it's 7 o'clock. So I guess we can start our meeting.
You got member Tarbox?
Yes. Yep, here's Kevin.
There's a bunch of dots in a square. I see you.
I don't see you.
On the barge.
Should we start our meeting, Pat?
Yes.
Okay, this is Chairman Oster. I'd like to bring the regular meeting of the Planning Board of the Town of Brunswick to order for Thursday, June 18th, 2020. At this time, if everybody could do the pledge of allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Pat, I'm going to turn the meeting right over to you, and you can give us our usual ground rules for the Zoom website.
Yep. Governor Cuomo's executive order has authorized us to hold the regular meetings over the internet. To facilitate this run smoothly and with as little technology interruptions as possible, we're asking the following. When not speaking, please mute your audio. Okay, thank you. When speaking, please state your name, and during the public hearing, please state your name and address for the record. You are encouraged to use headphones, in particular headphones with a microphone, so that there's really no feedback loop created. And if two or more of you are watching the meeting in the same room, make sure only one person's audio is on. Back to you, Chairman, for your roll call.
Okay, thank you. At this time, we'll do the attendance roll call. Chuck Golden, would you please take care of that for us, please?
Member Donald Henderson. Member Henderson. Member Krieger.
Member Krieger here.
Member Manello.
Member Manello here.
Chairman Oster, Russ Oster is here. Member Peterson. Member Peterson. Member Stancliffe.
Member Stancliffe here.
Member Tarbox.
Member Tarbox here.
Thank you. You can proceed.
Chairman Oster speaking. Thank you, Chuck. I had mine on mute, so you probably didn't hear me, but I'm here. This time we'll review the agenda. The agenda is as follows. Number 1 is the Faro special use permit and site plan. This is an applicant proposes to construct 2 duplexes on lots located at 392 and 394 Brunswick Road. Charles Faro is the applicant, and there is a public hearing to commence at 7 p.m. on that item. Number 2, Goodell, waiver of subdivision. Applicant seeks a waiver of subdivision seeking to divide a 10-acre portion of his property located at 121 Deep Kill Road in order to construct a single-family home. Bob Goodell is the applicant. And number 3 is the Blue Sky Towers 2 LLC and Celco Partnership doing business as Verizon Wireless. This is a special use permit and site plan, and this is strictly an update on a cell tower to be proposed on off Crick Road on the lands of Zuki, located at Crick Road and Menenshaw Lane. So with that being said, we will start our meeting tonight with the public hearing. At this time, I would just kind of review our public hearing procedure. The purpose of the public hearing is to hear concerns, comments, and views from the general public regarding a particular proposal or application. All public hearings in this case are, there's transcripts generated through the Zoom platform, and a written record of the proceedings is generated. In most cases, this record is included with the minutes of the planning board regular meeting, which is conducted immediately after the public hearing. The applicant will be required to respond to all concerns and comments. And at the public hearing subsequently, the planning board will consider all concerns and comments when evaluating the application to ensure that the applicant has addressed all the issues in question. The public hearing will be conducted as follows. The notice of public hearing will be read by the planning board attorney. Next, the applicant will give a brief presentation on the proposal and will give us any updates. Upon completion of the applicant's remarks, the chairman of the planning board will recognize persons from the public, and these individuals will be allowed to speak and offer their concerns, comments, and views. Since these proceedings, a transcript is generated for this hearing. It is requested that speakers address with their name and their address for the record before they make their comments. So at this time, I'll have the notice of public hearing read by the planning board attorney, Andy Gilchrist.
Attorney Gilchrist speaking. Notice of public hearing. Notice is hereby given that a public hearing will be held by the planning board of the town of Brunswick at 7 p.m. on Thursday, June 18th, 2020, to review the application for special use permit and site plan submitted by Charles Farrell for property located at 392 and 394 Brunswick Road. Applicant seeks approval to construct 2 duplex homes on property at this location. Pursuant to the governor's executive orders 202.1 and 202.15, the town of Brunswick will be holding the June 18th, 2020 planning board meeting over the internet, accessible to the general public through the Zoom video conferencing platform. Direction on participating in the June 18 remote planning board meeting, as well as copies of the special use permit and site plan applications for public inspection, will be available on the Town of Brunswick website. All interested persons will be heard at the public hearing, and this was published in the Troy Record, placed on the town soundboard, more importantly, posted on the town website, and mailed to owners of all properties located within 300 feet of the project site.
This is Chairman Oster speaking. Thank you. I'll have, I believe it's Brian Holberter, who is representing the applicant, to give us a brief presentation and any updates on the project, please.
Good evening. Brian Holbritter, land surveyor, representing Charles Farrell on this project. And this project is the conversion of 2 residential building lots. These lots were approved as residential building lots a couple of years ago, and we want to convert them to lots with duplex homes. The original lots were approved to support either 3 or 4 bedroom homes at that time, and we are simply going to convert each of those to a duplex lot having 2 bedrooms each. So we'll still just have 4 bedrooms. It'll be the same amount of water usage, same amount of septic disposal need as was originally planned. The only difference is we needed to provide some additional parking. All that has been taken care of. I submitted plans from Carl Aiken, professional engineer. And we've received permits from the state of New York for the 2 proposed driveway locations that are shown on the plan. And I think that's about it.
This is Chairman Oster speaking. Thank you. At this time, I will open the platform to anyone who wishes to make any comments from the general public.
May I start?
That's me.
Yes, you may, but okay. Go ahead.
Hold on, I've got to get out.
Did you mute? Okay,
I
sorry about that. My name is Maureen Madden, and I live at 385 Brunswick Road. And my comments are pretty limited. I wanted to go on record as opposing this application for a special use permit and just highlight a couple of the reasons why I'm in opposition. First, as of course everyone knows, the applicant here has the burden to show why the special use permit should be granted, including, as is requested in question 1 on the application, to explain why the proposed special use is reasonably necessary for the public health or general interest or welfare. And when I looked at the application, I didn't see even an attempt to explain why the special use was reasonably necessary. There's nothing at all in the record that I have seen to support that. And I think that's because there's really no credible reason for, or to argue that it is necessary. I don't think it is needed, that 2 duplexes are needed here. The neighborhood is largely, if not completely, single family residences, fairly well established, and by and large, I believe they're owner occupied. So again, I just feel like the applicant has not met his burden in demonstrating why he should be granted a special use permit. Secondly, I just also want to go on record as very strongly disagreeing with the statement that the duplexes would be consistent with the present character of the adjacent properties. The rendering that was provided to the public on the website, the town's website, is pretty rough, I'll admit. But when I looked at it, I thought, the first thought I had was that it looked like a Motel 6. And, you know, maybe it's not quite that bad, but it looks very commercial, very unattractive. And I don't think that it really, when I look at the site plan and see all the parking on the side and the front face of these rendering, as presented in the rendering, I strongly disagree that it fits in with the neighborhood. And so for those reasons, I oppose the application, and I would urge the board to deny the application. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comments. This is Chairman Oster speaking. Is there anyone else that wishes to make any comments? Express any concerns?
My name is Paul Jones. I also live on Brunswick Road near the project, and I have a little bit of a different twist on my dissatisfaction with this plan. I feel that we have a master plan and we're sort of tossing it out based on the fact that Mr. Farrell needs to, I'm not sure if this is true, but needs to gain greater profit from those 2 lots. And I don't think that we as a planning board, let's say, and as members of the community should really make that consideration and really say that that's in the interest of other homes in the area. Mr. Farrell has done a whole bunch of single-family homes up the top of the hill on Pinewoods Avenue, and he's done a nice job with those. But I guess my question would be, why didn't he put in his 2 families up there? There must be some reason for that. I believe that he also did the McChesney Town Road development. Not sure what it's called, but there's a perfect place for two-family homes if that's what he wanted. And I feel that that would be really inappropriate for him to do that there. It would devalue the other homes that he built. As far as the top of the hill, I just think he's taken the easy route and asking us to do an exception to the what's it called? The plan. What's the plan called? The comprehensive plan that's been established, and that's a huge favor to do him, considering the fact that they were approved as single-family lots, and they are more appropriate as single-family lots. And our neighborhood really is, it's a great neighborhood. It's got homes that are all similar in nature in this area, fairly high-end homes that are in this area. And I just feel like, what's the purpose of having this plan, this master plan, if we're just going to toss it out because a builder wants to enhance his profits? And again, please don't think I'm criticizing Mr. Farrell. I know him, he's a great guy, but I don't approve of this. And I think that we should stand firm and say, no, we're not going to do this. It should be single-family homes as it was planned originally, and that we should hold the line on that, and just explain to him that that's what it was and that's what it will be, and that's where your profits will be. So anyways, that's it from me. Thanks.
Thank you for your comments. This is Chairman Oster speaking. Are there any other comments that wish to be made at this time?
Can you hear me? Hello?
I can hear you, yes.
Okay. Thank you. My name is Maureen Evers. I live at 379 Brunswick Road. And I have a few comments as well, and I'll try to differ them from the previous comments, but I do support what was previously said. First, I really would like to address the comments earlier that said about the sewers and the water use, claiming that a duplex home, 2 bedrooms each, is similar to that of a 3-bedroom home or a 4-bedroom single home. I don't understand how that claim can be made when we're having an extra kitchen and extra laundry facilities, which I would assume would draw greater on than if there was just a 4-bedroom home with 1 kitchen and a laundry facility. Also, the driveway application that was referenced, when I read it online, the driver application actually was made for a single-family home. It says it right on the application itself, or the letter that came back. I guess I should actually say on the record, I am obviously opposed to this plan. I also wanted to address the zoning. So this zoning is what we consider an R15, and according to the zoning law, R15, it indicates that it's intended that development will have both public sewer and public water. And I don't think that is necessarily being met with this new build. That whole area has been zoned as R15, so I would make the assumption, as I've read it in the law and the master plan, in the comprehensive plan, that the intent was to bring somehow sewers in so that we could provide for smaller lots. The other is that the comprehensive plan, if you look on it, although this area is still shaded as agriculture, it is adjacent to what is designated as single-family home. So I think the intent, as this farm was sold and is being broken up into smaller parcels, that it is a single-family home. That was the intent to be done here. I also noted there are 3 additional acres owned that's contiguous to these properties, and I am concerned that this would set an inappropriate precedent as to what would be built on these additional properties. So I guess it's clear that I do strongly disagree with the design that has been presented and proposed. And although I am not opposed to homes being built on the lots.
Chairman Oster speaking. Thank you for your comments. Is there anyone else who wishes to make any comments?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Thank you.
My name is Mary Kronseski. I live at 387 Brunswick Road, which would be across from the properties. And I am also in opposition to the plan, mostly because in two places on the application that we got, it states that this is a dense development area, and that is simply not true. Most of us live here because it is not a densely developed area. That's what we like about it. So I would like to register my opposition. I would also like to read from a neighbor who is a friend who is at 377 Brunswick Road. Her name is Martha Colangelo. She is a 50-year resident of this neighborhood, and she just wanted the committee to hear her opposition because it is not consistent with the character of the neighborhood. She's been here for 50 years. And so she is also opposed to the special use permit application. Yes, and she is at 377 Brunswick Road. I'd also like to know, is there an address where we could send her comments? She does not have access to Zoom or to a computer. Can we write something and send that in, and where would we send that?
To answer your question about an address, I would send it to the town of Brunswick, the address there that you could probably get in care of the building department, and that would be forwarded. Those comments would be forwarded to the planning board and to the applicant.
Hi, this is Chuck from the building department. It's 336 Town Office Road in Brunswick, New York, 12180. Or, sorry, Troy, New York.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, this is Chairman Oster speaking. Is there anyone else that wishes to make any comments?
Yes, this is Danielle Brendise. I reside at 3 Heather Lane, which is right down the road from where the proposed site of the new homes of the duplexes. I am strongly opposed to this. I do not feel, I'm in agreement with what everyone else pretty much has said. My only other concern is that with 2 duplexes, I think it's going to add a lot more traffic there. It's already in an area where the farm is right there. It's 55. I have concerns. That's the only other additional concern that I had. And that I am not opposed to having single family homes put there, like Mr. Farrell had done up on top, but the duplexes just, they do not go with the character of the neighborhood. Thank you.
Chairman Oster speaking. Thank you for your comments. Is there anyone else who wishes to make any additional comments or just to, possibly reiterate on comments that are made at this point?
Yes, I'd like to, please. Can you hear me?
This is Chairman Oster. You're kind of weak as far as volume is concerned.
I've covered the microphone, sorry. Can you hear better now?
I believe so. Thank you.
Yes. This is Jim Patrick, 387 Brunswick Road. We're across and diagonally across from the proposed project. And I think I agree with just about all the statements that have been made. There's been no need or justification for this project. I just like to, I looked at the zoning regulations of the town concerning these special use permits. and I just wanted to read one part of this. The intent of these regulations is to ensure that the development and use of the will not have an adverse impact on the immediate neighborhood or on the character of the community. And such regulations are designed to protect the community from inappropriate design and other matters of scenic and aesthetic significance. Okay. And then also in the special use general standards, the character and appearance of the proposed use shall be in general harmony with the character and appearance of the surrounding neighborhood. Okay. So I think these things, and if you want to, a lot of these things are intangible, but some of the tangible things are aesthetics, the appearance has been noted, the very large parking areas in front of the duplexes. The area of the parking area, I'm not talking about the area of the driveways, but the area of the parking areas for each duplex is about about the same size as the house. I think it's 1,600 square feet for the parking area, and so like 1,750 square foot for the duplex. Okay, and additionally, there are no garages here. Okay, so if there are, for example, 4 adults in each of these duplexes, there are almost certainly going to be 4 cars parked in those parking spots all the time. In other words, this is going to present an appearance of a parking lot in front of these buildings. Okay. And my other point about the aesthetics, was pointed out that the really badly copied photograph that was included with this is not the same as these. It's not these buildings. Now, if you look at that photograph very carefully, Pat, is that available there? I don't know. But anyways, that photograph shows approximate.
What document was it on? Do you know, Jim?
No, I don't.
Keep going, Pat. You'll get to it.
Yeah, it's down toward the bottom of the.
I think it was document 3, the third listed.
No. Nope. There we go.
There we go.
There we go. This one. Okay. If you cock your head sideways, you'll see that this building it has this big porch. If you measure, and then Pat, if you go back, if you know, wait one sec, hold a sec. If you look at that, the photograph, the edge of that porch is about at the end of the window. You can see that on each side, it's symmetrical. Okay. And Pat, if you could go back to that floor plan, that sketch right above that. Okay. If you see where that is on there and you measure that, that comes out to be like a 21-foot porch, which is a significant architectural feature. Okay. If you go back to the site plan drawings, there is no porch on the front of these houses. You have about a 6 foot by 6 foot stoop, which is probably covered. If you look at the front of that, the side, looking toward Brunswick Road, there's no big porch there. That's a 6 foot, 6 by 6 foot stoop. You couldn't even put a chair on there. So Pat, it was the one. If you just look at the regular at the outline of the house, the duplex houses, you'll see that. Okay, and so this is not going to have the appearance. This is incredibly what I call really austere or Spartan style, and it just doesn't fit in into the neighborhood. For example, if you I don't know if anybody's taken a chance to drive past there, and if they looked at the Galuzzo's house, which is directly next door, if you're looking at this diagram here, it's to the west. to the left, okay? And this is a very stately stone, it's 2-story, stone, first story, second story clapboard, slate roof house. And I couldn't imagine of a more unlikely pairing of two buildings for these compared to the very direct next door neighbors. And it's just, I just don't, they just don't fit into the neighborhood. And as other people have mentioned, if they fit into the neighborhood, Mr. Farrell could probably put these in any of his properties or any of his developments. But it's just, I don't think anybody would like them. If he put this up on Doubleday Acres or whatever the name of this place is, I think they'd have a rebellion of his the people that bought houses from him. So I just these are what I consider some of the tangible things that you're going to see. Also, the fact that there are no garages there. Where are people going to put all the stuff you usually see have in a garage? Like the motorcycles and bikes and all kinds of things like that. Think of all the things you got in your garages and sheds. These things might end up on the lawn, or people put up tent garages, frame tent garages to put these things in. These just don't fit here from just those points of view. And the other thing, I think the more important things, these are not going to be family houses. What I mean family houses, residents where people live for a long time or raise a family. These are short-term rental properties. Okay, people are going to move in and out of these like apartments. I mean, there's a place for this. Everybody's living starting out. Everybody's living in an apartment in a rental house. Okay, but this is just not
Jim. Jim, this is Chairman Oster. You seem to be fading on me. I don't know whether I'm losing audio here or what. Is there some setting or something that I'm missing here, Pat? Excuse me for interrupting.
No, he's been fading in and out. He's moving back and forth, I think.
Oh, okay.
How about try mute?
Can you hear me all right?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
Okay, I'll just speak up. I'm just about done here. So
everybody should be mute.
Okay. Well, as other people said, I have, I happen to like Mr. Farrell's houses up on the hill, up on Pinewood. I think they're very sensibly sized houses. They seem to be pretty well built. But those houses are family houses. You can see, for example, the improvements people have done on those houses. For example, the solar collectors on the one house. These are places that people are planning to go in and stay there for a significant amount of time. And I think that's one of the biggest things, because in this area, between on the two sides of Brunswick Road, and then going down Shine Road, and then going up Village Drive, and then Heather Lane, there are 27 houses. I know people may not notice that just zipping by us on Route 2. There are 27 houses, and all of them are they're all pretty much compatible. Not very many big mansions, but they're all it's a very compatible place. It's a very nice neighborhood. This just wouldn't fit in. I'm sorry, and I guess you might have guessed by my tone that I oppose the project. All right, then Mr. Oster, can I have just a general question here? Russ? I haven't got a response here. Okay. Mr. Oster? No? Anybody else there?
Hello?
Yeah,
Hello?
I can hear you fine. I'm a participant, Bill. I can hear you fine.
Okay. I was trying to. I had a question for the chairman.
I don't know. It looks like you and I lost everybody.
now. We can hear you,
No,
Jim.
this is Chuck from the building department, Jim. I
Oh, okay.
I still have you,
All right,
and
okay.
I'm not sure what's wrong with Chairman Oster's audio, but it just doesn't appear like Chairman Oster's audio is working.
Okay.
He doesn't show muted, but for some reason his audio is not coming through.
Okay. Well, I just had a general comment beyond this project. Is that I'd like to see the possibility of getting minutes for the meetings also. I think it's important to have. They're just a lot easier to follow. I know this is a really difficult time for running meetings, and I really commend you guys for getting this and being able to show all the building plans and the like. I think this is probably preferable to when we do in person. But I'd like to have be able to see minutes for this. It's just it's easier to follow discussion of a project rather than a Zoom meeting, I think. Okay, and then
Jim, if I can, Attorney Gilchrist here, just let me explain for the record that we are operating under the governor's executive order, which does suspend the open meetings law requirement, and another executive order which does allow public hearings without being in person and to allow them over the internet, over a video conferencing platform. But the governor's executive order allowing that does require not only real-time public participation, but that a transcript of the meeting be prepared, not summary minutes, but a transcript of the meeting. And what the town planning board and also in Brunswick, the town zoning board of appeals have been doing are recording these Zoom meetings, and transcripts are being prepared. They will look different than the meetings. They are more of a transcript format, which identifies the person speaking, and it is more of a word-for-word transcript. But in order to be compliant with the governor's orders, that's what's being prepared. Those are in preparation right now, and they should be available shortly.
okay. It's just Andy. Like I've said before, I prefer your very succinct and accurate minutes. So.
Well, we do appreciate that, but in this interim period,
I understand.
We got to comply with the governor's orders, and then once we're back in person, we'll have the regular minutes prepared.
All right. Yeah, as we've discussed before, people are always referring back to the minutes for information and for details for project details and the like. Okay, that's all I have to say about the project. Thank you very much.
Okay, I know we're having a problem hearing Chairman Oster, but this is Carrie Galuzzo. I live directly next door at 390 Brunswick Road to the proposed properties. I'd like to second everything that my neighbors have said about this. I don't know how this will look for us. We moved into our house for a reason, and it wasn't to be boxed in by a few duplexes, that's for sure. I'm also curious about the easement. The town of Brunswick has a 30-foot easement that they're allowing the parking lot to be built over, which will directly be on our property line. So I'm concerned about that. Aesthetically, it certainly does not fit in with every other house in this neighborhood. I'm not opposed to the houses that have been put up in the back. I think they're great. The people that live up there, though I don't know them personally, have been doing a lot of work. I drive by there on a regular basis. One of the homes even put out a free lending library, which I think is amazing for the neighborhood. They built a little box that's, has free books in it. I think is pretty amazing. I'm concerned about our water table. We have a hard time as it is. The fact that this is on a well, and so I think is directly going to affect our water table. We've already seen it happen. Our well runs dry all the time, and it's not for lack of our well not being appropriate for our space. I'm also would back up the concerns that Jim had about not having any garage space and all the stuff that would be out there. I'm also concerned with the fact that these aren't family homes. People are going to be in and out of here. Are there going to be any landlords available? Is there going to be anybody watching this property to make sure that stuff isn't happening? And I don't think aesthetically, how can you say it fits in when there's a farm directly across the street? Also concerned about the speed limit, as usual. That's always been a big concern. If people were out here more, they would understand that that straightaway that's right across from the farm and that little bit of empty space there, motorcycles race it on a regular basis. I don't know. You have anything else you want to add?
No, I think you covered it. Like I said, the water table I am concerned about. We just replaced our well and everything last November, and our well's still running dry. I have no proof that it's the new houses up on Pine Woods, but there's definitely a correlation there. But other than that, I mean, I am opposed to the duplexes, and no problem with houses going up.
Sir, can you please state your name and address also?
I'm sorry, my name is David Galuzzo at 390 Brunswick Road. And my other main concern, which Carrie just mentioned, is the landlord. Is the landlord going to be local? Are they going to be absentee landlords? I grew up with a family where my parents were landlords, and even though they're within the same city, they had multiple problems with tenants. I just have a personal experiences with nightmares with tenants, so I have a hard time seeing the same thing not happening here at some point. That's all I have.
I think it's a lot to be asking to put 2 duplexes in that space. Like I said, single family homes that are, I just think putting 2 duplexes right there is just, you're packing a whole lot into a relatively tight space, in my opinion. And the fact, like I said, that the parking lot is allowed to go over the town's easement, I don't understand that. Like, why is the town allowing a parking lot to be built over their easement? I don't understand what people are gaining from that. And like I said, so it's going to be directly, their parking spaces are, so their cars starting up my bedroom window is right there. Their cars starting at whatever time of night it's going to be, impeding my general life on a daily basis. And I didn't move out here to have a neighbor that I can reach out and touch, so to speak.
Thank you.
This is Attorney Gilchrist. Pat, do we know if Chairman Oster is still on the meeting?
Yes, he is. He's having problems with his audio.
Right.
I texted him and said maybe he wants to reboot.
So in the interim, I think we should have one other member of the planning board just act as acting chair until Chairman Oster is back to keep the meeting running and run the public hearing.
This is Member Stancliffe. I can do that. So I'll act as chairman until Chairman Oster can get his audio working again. Ms. Galuzzo, was there anything else you wanted to say for or against the application?
No, I think I'm done saying what I needed to say. I'm just, very opposed to this. I don't think it fits in at all. I don't get it. I'm not, like I said, I'm not opposed to, and wasn't opposed to the whatever plan we are on now that, with single family homes, that's perfectly fine with me. But this duplex, these duplexes don't make any sense to me. Like I said, I can't imagine my house directly being next door to a couple of duplexes or to a couple of apartments, really, when there are, I mean, if you're looking to move into the district for the school, that's great. I work at the elementary school, but I think I wrote down there are plenty of apartments and townhomes available right on McChesney Ave Extension. I know the Glen at Sugar Hill has 3 units. Duncan Meadows has 8 units. Sugar Hill has 4 units. Highland Creek has 3, and the Woods has 4, and they're all the Brunswick School District. So if you're looking for an apartment, those are some great options. I don't think it has to be. I don't think it has to come courtesy of a duplex on Route 2 next to single family living in a well-established neighborhood. I mean, I know my next door neighbor's not on right now, Pete, but his mom Helen, I'm sure, if she was still alive, would be super opposed to this, as well. They've been here for as long as I can remember. I know personally that a couple of my coworkers went to school with her sons, and they're a well-established family here as well, the Snyders. So I just, like I said, makes no sense to me. And I know we're on the younger end of the spectrum compared to everybody else, but we moved out here in 2007. We raised our kids here for the most part, and I'd like to see grandkids raised here. And I just, like I said, don't think the duplexes fit in with that kind of living. That's all we had. Thanks.
Thank you. Are there any other comments for the public hearing?
I just wanted to make one comment.
Could you please state your name again? I'm sorry.
Maureen Evers, 379 Brunswick Road.
Thank you.
I just wanted to reiterate the comment I just heard about the well problems and how we're proposing in the zoned area to put more houses with more wells. I think that's an undue burden on our neighbors. And I think the board should seriously consider wells and septics in these areas as well. I mentioned that before, but I guess I just wanted to bring it around again with my neighbor mentioning their problems with their well.
This is Acting Chair Stancliffe. Thank you. Are there any other comments?
And Zabovit?
Thank you. Could you please state your address?
Yes, 3 Village Drive in Brunswick. And I am in full agreement with everyone's comments. And I would like to add the word transients. Hotel 6, that's all I can think of when everybody mentioned that. There's going to be people in and out, probably leaving all kinds of stuff outside, and we won't have no contact with the owners of these apartments. Who do we complain to? It's not feasible at all. And we moved out here back in 1993. It's almost 30 years, and we live in this area because of the surrounding, the beautiful, quiet, farm-like life. And that's going to be disrupted. And especially with the water problem, we all have sewer, we all have septic systems and wells. It's just not acceptable. That's it. Thank you very much.
I would like to add one more thing to that, actually.
Could you please just state your name again, because we have a transcript. Thank you.
Carrie Galuzzo, 390 Brunswick Road. I know when we were looking to do an addition, even though we have a 4-bedroom, 2.5-bathroom house. When we were looking to do our own addition, I know that we got denied without redoing a whole new septic and well, just adding an in-law space, and it wasn't even a full kitchen. But I just wanted to state that too, that, I mean, we already have that space and we're gonna have to redo everything. And we weren't allowed to do that. So I don't know how you can put up duplexes and have 2 kitchens and everything else and still expect the, you know, the water to be the same.
Thank you. Chairman Oster, are you back on? Still no audio, Chairman Oster.
Hi. Paul Jones, double dipping here. 385 Brunswick Road. And, you know, one of the things that keeps going around in my head is, you know, this whole idea of doing this master plan and then deviating from it. And I ask of the board, is it common to change from, you know, a single lot to a double lot and to make them both multifamily homes? And I guess my question then is, who does the board work for? You know, who is what is their interest? What mandate do they have to then uphold the you know, the master plan that was you know, established? Who's I mean, I go so far as to say who are they fiscally responsible to, if at all? And
This is Pat Polito. Do you have something open in the background there? We're hearing double of you.
It's you. Pull yourself off. Sorry. Yeah, Maureen has hers open. She's coming off now. Just down in the lower right, you'll see that. There you go. Can you hear me now? Is that better? Is that better?
Yes,
that's
much.
better.
Good. So again, it's kind of a touchy subject to say who's your fiduciary obligation to. Maybe you don't have any fiduciary obligation, but our community here is special. You know, it's not super wealthy. But it's a good all-American division that sort of reflects the school. It reflects other little communities that are around Eagle Mills area, and it's pretty cool. It's a pretty unique thing, and I feel that it's special. And to put these 2 families in there is really going to compromise the uniqueness and the strong community that we have here. I'm sure you've all been up to see it. It's beautiful, you know, and it's very neighborly. And to suddenly put in, like people have said, a transient, you know, a rental situation is never going to be a situation that's tight to the community. And to come off of a single family lot, to put these 2 properties in, I think it's ridiculous, you know. And I'm a little bit surprised to think that they would even entertain something like that. But in the meantime, that's enough for me. I won't double dip anymore. Thanks.
Thank you. This is Acting Chairman Stancliffe. Russ Oster, we still cannot hear your audio. Is there anyone else who would like to make comments for this public hearing?
Yep. Hi, can you hear me okay?
If you could please state your
Yes.
name and address for the record.
Sure. This is Matt Perfetti. I'm at 380 Brunswick Road. I echo the comments of the neighbors here that have voiced their opinions. I disagree with the application. which is describing the area as a densely populated area. I disagree that the type of building proposed is in alignment with the surrounding area. I'm not aware of any duplexes in this area on this road, in this stretch of neighborhood. I likewise would not oppose single-family homes in alignment with the surrounding area to be placed if that was part of the original plan. And I share the similar concerns with the shared resources of the water table as well. Yep. Thank you.
Thank you. Acting Chair Stancliffe. Anyone else speaking for or against the application?
This is Chuck from the building department. I looked at my records and there is a duplex at 486 Brunswick Road. That I'm just stating that for the record.
Hi, this is Paul Jones. Just wanted to chime in on that a little bit. 385 Brunswick Road, and I've been thinking about that as well. What properties are similar to these, and these are new construction. These are not properties that are long existing, and more or less just part of the community over the years. And they're quite different in nature. To have a property that's probably 70 years old, that's been here and lived in owner occupied ever since, to a property, either of these two duplexes. So I just wanted to address that because it does not set an example in their community because it's always been there. And in our community, it is going to set an example, and it's going to have a fairly substantial impact, in my opinion. Thanks.
Thank you. Acting Chair Stancliffe. Are there any more comments?
Yeah, I would like to weigh on the house that was just brought up, Carrie Galuzzo, 390 Brunswick Road. My son was friends with people who lived in that house, and like I said, it was a long-standing house that I think they had converted. It wasn't originally built as a duplex. You can't tell it's a duplex from looking at it from the front, nor does it have any excessive parking. All of the parking is, it's down a long driveway in the back. It's not visible from the road. So aesthetically, I don't think it ruins that particular area of the neighborhood. Like I said, right, these two duplexes right here on Route 2, they're out here. There's nothing surrounding them. They're open. There's no, like I said, the other house that was mentioned, that was a duplex. It's surrounded by woods in the back, on the sides. It has, one or two neighbors, but like I said, all the properties are separate, and this isn't going to be like that. So like I said, I don't think you can take that house and use it as an example for this neighborhood. It's one. I mean, they're, and the next closest house that I think of that even has apartments in it that you would never know either is all the way down the street by the Green Bridge. Other than that one example, I don't think you can say that these duplexes that are brand new and going up with all this open parking and this open field fit in with the area, fit in with this neighborhood. And that's just my opinion. Thanks.
Thank you. Any other comments?
Maureen Evers.
I believe you're muted right now.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Maureen Evers, 379 Brunswick Road. Just for clarification, that address 486 Brunswick Road. Actually, in the building, in the stuff I read in the zoning law, we classify things as a single residential with an apartment, which would be considered a single residential, I believe, a two-family, and a multifamily. So is this indeed a two-family, or was that actually a single family with an apartment? Which, as I said, I think in the record says that that would be considered a single-family home.
Hi, this is Chuck from the building department. What I remember of it, there were two distinct, separate apartments, side by side, two separate kitchens. That's what I remember of that property. It does set back quite a ways from the road.
Yeah, I do agree, though. I don't think something that has been established that long should be in comparison with a new build.
No, my point was just that was the closest one. It was just everybody was talking, and I just went on a search to see which one the closest one was. It's, as I said
No, I
previously,
understood.
simply for the record.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any new comments that have not been vetted yet? That being said, would anyone like to entertain a motion to, well, would the board like to have discussion about closing the public hearing? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
Member Krieger, I'll second that.
This is Acting Chair Stancliffe. Mr. Golden, could you take a roll call vote?
Roll call vote to close the public hearing. Member Henderson is absent. Member Krieger.
Aye.
Member Manillo.
Aye.
Member Oster. Russ can give us a thumbs up. Member Peterson is absent. Member Stancliffe.
Aye.
Member Tarbox.
Member Tarbox, aye.
The public hearing is closed.
Thank you very much. Just for the, this is Acting Chair Stancliffe, for the public's knowledge, the applicant will need to respond to these comments. And the applicant is also on the agenda for tonight, so they may respond if you want to stay tuned in as we move into the formal agenda of the meeting. Then you may hear responses to some of the comments that were raised today. With that being said, I need to go back to, sorry. So we'll move into our regular meeting. Thank you. Number one is Farrell Special Use Permit. The applicant's surveyor is on the line, I believe. Would you like to take control of conversation, Brian, or?
Brian Holbritter here. In lieu of the many comments that were made tonight, I would request that we are given time to respond to all of these comments in writing and get those to the planning board members for their review. And I think it would do the planning board good, as well as my client, a chance to digest all of these different comments that were made by the public and to try and respond to them all respectfully and give the planning board a chance to review those comments without trying to do it at tonight's meeting. So I would like to request that we be allowed to submit our comments or answers to the public comments in writing to the planning board over the next week.
This is Acting Chair Stancliffe. Thank you. That being said, we'll put the Farrell special use sub on for the agenda for the first meeting in the month of July. And we'll make the transcript available when it when it is completed so that you have the comments in writing.
Brian Holder, land surveyor here. Andy, could you please see that I get a copy of that once it's ready? Thank you.
Attorney Gilchrist, certainly there simply is a bit of a time lag between the audio and making a full transcript. I'm not sure it's going to be available within the next week. That's just a logistical and practical issue. It may take a little bit to get the transcript put together.
Brian Holbritter, land surveyor here. I took pretty extensive notes, and although I would really love to have the transcript to be sure that I didn't miss anything, I guess we'll get to work on responding to these concerns and hopefully be able to just maybe brush them up once the comments are made available. Thank you.
Yep, Attorney Gilchrist here. We appreciate that. We'll make every effort to get the transcript turned around as soon as possible.
Acting Chair Stancliffe, thank you very much.
Acting Chair Stancliffe, could I just ask a question referring to this? I have no comment on the project. Are you still receiving written comments?
We'll receive the comment letter that was mentioned in the public hearing, but being that the public hearing is closed, no
Okay.
further written comments would be allowed.
All right, because there were other people that had no access to the.
Hey, Jim, please state your name when you start talking.
Yeah, Jim Tatchik, 387 Brunswick Road. There are people that just didn't have access to Zoom, the computer. I know of two specifically.
This is Chuck from the building department, and with the notices, there is a phone number in which individuals can call in. They will not have the advantage of having video, but they certainly can listen and comment. If they own a phone.
But the phone information was not on the website until today, right? In other words, if they looked at this yesterday, they would have no idea that that would be accessible.
Acting Chair Stancliffe. Attorney Gilchrist, would you like to weigh in on this conversation?
Attorney Gilchrist, yes, the public hearing was noticed through the mail as well as the newspaper and on the website. It does indicate that instructions on connecting into the Zoom meeting will be available day of meeting, so that was noticed. And there's a reason why that's done in a lot of municipal cases. What a lot of municipalities have found is that these Zoom meetings, unfortunately, in some cases, have been taken over by uninterested third parties that just want to take over and disrupt the meeting. So to reduce the likelihood of that, many municipalities have gone to the procedure of making the internet connection as well as the phone number available day of meeting. And that's what Brunswick has done here. So there was an indication that the link and the phone number would be available day of meeting.
Thank you. Next on our agenda is Goodell waiver of subdivision.
Yes, Bill Goodell, I'm here.
Acting Chair Stancliffe, thank you, Mr. Goodell. If you wanted to review the application newly submitted documents, that would be appreciated.
Okay, I believe from the last meeting, we talked about.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but this is Attorney Gilchrist again. I do think I need to make the record clear, certainly for the benefit of the record on the previous application. I did advise Chairman Oster today by telephone that I did receive a call from Mr. Tatchik earlier in the week, and he did raise the same concern with me about people not having available internet access. And I did review that with Chairman Oster today, and I wish he were available to link into the meeting. It's certainly within the board's discretion to allow a short period of time for additional written comments if it desires to do so on that application, and then afford the applicant adequate opportunity to respond to those comments. I just wanted the record clear on that was raised directly with me prior to the meeting today, and I did review that with Chairman Oster. So it's certainly within the discretion of the planning board to allow a limited period of time for written comments from the public, of course, affording the applicant an opportunity to receive those and fully respond as well. So just wanted to make the record clear on that and back within the planning board's determination.
This is Acting Chair Stancliffe. Could we have discussion amongst the board members, or would someone like to make a motion to extend the written comment period for this public hearing?
This is Member Tarbox. I'd like to make a motion that you extend the public comment period for 1 week.
This is Member
To accept
Manello.
written comment.
I'll second that, Member Manello.
Acting Chair Stancliffe, thank you. Could we have a roll call vote, please?
Roll call vote to extend the public hearing. Member Henderson absent. Member Krieger.
Member Krieger, aye.
Member Manello.
Member Manello, aye.
Chairman Oster with a show of hands. Where is Mr. Oster? I don't see Mr. Oster. I think he might be getting his computer going again. Member Peterson absent. Member Stancliffe.
Member Stancliffe, aye.
Member Tarbox.
Member Tarbox, aye.
We will extend the public hearing for 1 week.
Well, and again, to make the record clear, this is Attorney Gilchrist, that this is a 1 week extension for the receipt of written comments from the public to be received by the town office 1 calendar week from today. Is that correct?
Acting Chair Stancliffe, that was the motion. Thank you. And Mr. Golden, could you repeat the address, please?
The address for the mailings will be Town of Brunswick Building Department, 336 Town Office Road, Troy, New York, 12180.
Acting Chair Stancliffe, thank you.
This is Member Henderson. Are you hearing me?
Yes.
Okay, because apparently Mr. Golden thinks I'm absent from the meeting, and I'm not. I was just a little bit late.
I will note that your presence is here, Don. Are you in a power outage or?
Well, I've been having some internet connectivity issues, but I've been here almost since the beginning. So I know you missed me, but I'm here.
You will be part of the roll call votes from here on out. Sorry about that.
Okay.
Acting Chair Stancliffe. We'll move on to the Goodell waiver of subdivision on 121 Deep Kill Road. Mr. Goodell, if you're on, the floor is yours.
Yes, I believe you just wanted some explanation of the 3 documents that I submitted after the last planning board meeting. It was a request for supporting documentation. So basically, the first page, if you still have them in order, when I submitted them was a septic layout. It would be the house well septic layout with the topo lines on the lot and the driveway line to Deep Hill Road. That also indicates the septic system layout, and it's conventional, approved conventional with a perk and the county test with the holes for 5 laterals at 55 feet. That would be page 1. Page 2 would be basically the same layout as that, only it's an entire survey view of the lot, which would show the topo lines and test holes with the driveway out to Deep Kill. And the third sheet would be the actual survey also of just the basic survey without the supporting documentation sheets on that survey. So you can see the lot, subdivided lot, according to Deep Kill Road. So that's basically the 3 supporting documents that we discussed at the last meeting that was requested. And I guess I'll open it up for questions if you have any. Thank you. Oh, can I also would like to add, as of today, Army Corps engineers had approved my permit to put the driveway in, and DEC got back to me today with an email that they are about to approve the permit. So they told me I'll have a permit next week. So all the due diligence I had to do with regulatory agencies is complete and all approved.
Hi, this is Chuck from the building department. If you could get those documents when received into us, Mr. Goodell, that would be great.
Okay, I can drop them off to you, Chuck.
Thank you.
This is Acting Chair Stancliffe. Are there any comments on the application?
This is Member Krieger. I am a neighboring property owner, and I can be impartial on a vote on this.
Attorney Gilchrist, Member Krieger, will just confirm you don't have any direct or even indirect economic involvement with the application. You're merely a nearby or adjacent property owner. Is that correct?
Correct, just an adjacent property owner.
Okay, and certainly no legal requirement to recuse yourself, and you've noted for the record that you can review the application and act objectively, so no basis for recusal. Thank you.
This is Member Tarbox. As I mentioned in the previous meeting, I also am an adjoining landowner, and I am impartial and can act properly in this case.
Acting Chair Stancliffe, thank you for your comments. I did have one question for the applicant. The length of the driveway. Do you happen to know the approximate length of the driveway?
This is Bill. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I didn't know whether I was muted or not. Yeah, the approximate length is probably 300 to 350 feet.
Acting Chair Stancliffe, thank you. The Mr. Golden, could you review the length of driveway to a private drive from the code?
I believe this one will be just about there, 300 feet. There are distinction break at 150, 300, then again, I believe it's 700. And there will have to be special provisions for the fire department access. It'll be, well, dependent upon the terrain. It can
Acting
be
Chair
a,
Stancliffe, thank you. Are there any other-
This is Bill Goodell. Can I just add, in the past, I've done a lot of real estate and looking at properties and so on. And I think, is it the fire restrictions? Is it every 250 feet I have to have a pull off for tankers or pumpers? I could be wrong, but that's what I thought in the past. And I can certainly put that in.
That I'm not certain of the number. If it's 250, I have to look. We have just come into a new code cycle, so I need to confirm that in the new code of the 2020 code. But I believe it was 250 previously. Yes.
Okay.
Thank you, Acting Chair Stan Cliff. I just wanted to get that information on the record. So there'll need to be a driveway application permit with the town because it's a town-owned road. And the building department can discuss that with you further when the application comes before them.
Can anybody hear me? All right.
Yes.
Yes, Russ, we can hear you.
Okay, I'm on my phone right now. I think there's how's that? Is that better?
That's better.
Yes, Russ, this is Pat. Can you mute your speakers on your computer? You're getting feedback.
I have them muted.
Okay.
But you have a feedback?
A little. But keep going.
All right. Well, at this point, if Linda wants to continue as the acting chair, since I got this audio problem, I'm okay with that.
Acting Chair Stancliffe will continue. Thank you. Waiver of subdivision. We had a seeker. Is that correct?
Attorney Gilchrist, that is correct. Well, absent any further discussion, or Mr. Bonesteel has any comments, first order of business would be your seeker determination.
Acting Chair Stancliffe. Mr. Bonesteel, do you have any comments for the applicant?
This is Wayne Bonesteel, the planning board engineer. He's provided a lot more information than we typically see for a waiver of subdivision. We did want to know that the lot was buildable. That's why we requested additional information. He's proven that the lot created by this waiver would be a buildable lot, so I'm good with it. I don't have any additional questions or comments.
Acting Chair Stancliffe, thank you, Mr. Bonesteel. Is there a motion on the seeker short form?
This is Member Tarbox. I'll make the motion on seeker. Negative declaration.
Acting Chair Stancliffe, thank you. Member Tarbox, is there a second?
Member Krieger, I'll second that.
Acting Chair Stancliffe, thank you. A roll call vote on the seeker determination of negative declaration under seeker for this waiver of subdivision.
Member Henderson, how do you vote?
Member Henderson, aye.
Member Krieger?
Member Krieger, aye.
Member Manello?
Member Manello, aye.
Member Oster?
Member Oster, aye.
Member Peterson absent. Member Stancliffe?
Member Stancliffe, aye.
Member Tarbox?
Member Tarbox, aye.
The negative declaration is approved.
Acting Chair Stancliffe, is there a motion on the table for approval of the waiver of subdivision at 121 Deep Kill Road?
Member Manello, I'll make the motion.
Acting
Attorney
Chair
Gilchrist,
Stancliffe.
if I could interject with, based on the discussion for consideration, a few conditions, obviously requirement for the town driveway permit application, compliance with any fire department requirements for the private road or length of driveway, and filing of the wetlands permit with the building department, and any required approvals from the Rensselaer County Health Department.
Acting Chair Stankliff, thank you. Is
Member
there a second
Tarbox,
with the conditions?
Member Tarbox, I'll second the motion.
Acting Chair Stankliff, roll call vote, please.
Member Henderson,
Member Henderson, aye.
Member Krieger,
Member Krieger, aye.
Member Manello,
Member Manello, aye.
Member Oster,
Mr.
Member Peterson, absent, Member Stancliff,
Member Stankliff, aye.
Member Tarbox.
Member Tarbox, aye.
The waiver.
The waiver of subdivision carries. You just muted yourself, Chuck. Acting Chair Stancliff. Mr. Goodell, you are set to go. Just as stated in the conditions, we'll need the documentation submitted to the building department when received. Thank you. Number 3 on our agenda.
Thank you very much, everyone. I'd just like to thank Chairman, Acting Chairman, and all the members. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you very much. Goodbye.
Number 3 on our agenda is the Blue Sky Towers application. Attorney Brendan.
Hi, my name is Allison Phillips. I'm an attorney with Young Summer. I'm filling in for Dave this evening, who wasn't able to attend.
You're a little bit in and out, so if you could just stay at one position with the microphone, that would be appreciated. Thank you.
Yes.
Attorney Gilchrist here. Acting Chair Stancliff will also know for the record that I believe he's on the call or on the conference is Ron LaBerge, the town's designated review engineer on the application.
Yes, I am.
Thank you.
And I can just provide a brief overview on where we are and what we have submitted to the town since we last appeared before the planning board. On June 8th, we had submitted our response to the comments received at the public hearing. We have also since submitted photo simulations showing the stealth monopine option that was discussed at a prior meeting. I believe that the town engineer has had a chance to review the response to public hearing comments, and we did receive a letter dated June 15th, which provides the engineer's comments on those responses. I know at the time that that letter was written that the engineer did not have yet the photo simulations of the stealth monopine, and so the comments were not able to specifically address that, but those have since been provided to the planning board. So I'm here to answer any questions that you might have or to receive any feedback that the town engineer may have on those submissions.
Thank you very much. This is Acting Chair Stancliff. Mr. LaBerge, do you have any comments? You're muted right now. There we go.
Sorry about that. Good evening, Ron LaBerge. Hopefully the planning board received our packet of comments. I tried to make sure we commented on all of them and provide maybe some little additional information to help with some of the decision-making process. But as I view this, the technical data, the propagation studies, I mean, when this application was first presented, indicated that there is a need for a tower in this area based upon all that data. And we kind of addressed that in our review of the comments. For the Planning Commission, though, I see this more of a location and visibility issue. The stealth monopole information that was submitted the other day, I did receive it and get a chance to look through it. I wasn't really sure what the applicant was trying to present because the stealth portion was only on the upper edges of the monopole. So that's something I think we should ask the applicant to clarify. Is this stealth monopole actually going to be basically, or I'm going to say, top of surrounding tree line, top of pole? So it all kind of looks like an evergreen. One of the issues that we're not capable of actually reviewing is market analysis. And I think that's something actually Attorney Gilchrist and I spoke about this briefly the other day. While the applicant did present market analysis saying that property values don't necessarily decrease, potentially increase, some of the neighbors actually presented completely opposite evidence, so to speak, in terms of reports. So I think the property value question might best be addressed by performing some type of market study or having an appraiser go out and be able to provide the board with some information in that regard. Some of the items that were left unanswered by the applicant, and I don't want to say unanswered really, it's more of a question of how detailed the application materials are. There was questions about the site plan and should they have prepared 3 of them with 3 SWIPs, and et cetera, et cetera. I do concur with the applicant in the regard that I think the Planning Commission has enough information about the installations in general that detail could be presented once or if a location is finally identified. We know the footprint of the layout, etc. Really, the only big question is how many arrays are going to be on the tower. If it's 2, like what I think Mr. Brennan mentioned for the stealth monopoles, obviously that changes the number of generators on site, number of fuel storage on site, etc. So I didn't really intend to go through each of my responses or comments on the comments, but I'd be happy to answer any questions the board may have if you had a chance to go through it or need some clarification.
Acting Chair Stancliffe, thank you very much. Is there any comment from Attorney Gilchrist? My question was specific to the zoning board, but if you have any other comments or information you'd like to share to the board.
Attorney Gilchrist, yes, we're at the point where the public hearing, joint public hearing with the zoning board's been held. List of those comments prepared that were received at the public hearing. There were some additional written comments received during the written comment period. Ron LaBerge has had a chance to go through the applicant's response to comments, and you see his review letter on that. We really want to make sure that the record is complete in terms of full applicant responses to the public comments. Ron did raise one issue about the issue of impact to property values, which was raised during the public hearing and the written comments, and there was material submitted by the applicant on that. I think we should follow up with the applicant and see if we can get some information particular to this location as opposed to a more general study concerning impact of property values from the tower. And I think Ron and I should have that discussion with the applicant's representatives. On the issue of the photo simulations of the stealth monopole that were submitted, the board will note that there were 2 sets of photo simulations submitted. One was 60 some odd pages, one was 30 some odd pages. And it went through the whole photo simulation that was previously done. One thing for the board to consider and possibly request from the applicant is a more tailored presentation, particularly with regard to those 2 locations at top of slope with the 80 and 90-foot tower proposals, and what a stealth monopole looking like a pine tree would actually look like from various vantage points there, and have a more targeted, tailored visual assessment of that. I concur with Ron that one of the significant issues here is going to be visual and final location. And I think the more information the board can have on the stealth monopole, 2 proposed locations, and more tailored photo simulations would be helpful for your determination. And that's where we're at. Recall that this also is pending before the Zoning Board of Appeals on the variance application, and likewise, the Zoning Board will be reviewing those responses as well.
Acting Chair Stancliffe, thank you. Attorney Gilchrist. Are there comments or questions from the board members for the applicant? Crickets. I will echo Attorney Gilchrist's request and the town engineer's request for some kind of market study relative to the subject location. The details of which could be sorted out by the attorney and engineer and applicant. I also do think it's important that we see the visual simulations for both the 80 and 90-foot tower that are more tailored to the project proposal. And while I agree that probably the stormwater, I didn't get through all of the 260 some pages, but at some point we'll need to deal with the stormwater management and the sound of the generators and refueling, but I feel comfortable that that can be dealt with at a later date when the actual site is, if chosen, is chosen. Are there any other comments from the board members? Acting Chair Stancliffe, just for the record, I did go see the site up on Route 40 that was presented as an example. And I did take photographs from Route 40, but you wouldn't be able to pick it out because in that location, the top of the monopine sits above, just above the existing tree line. And you're quite a distance away from the subject property. I'm not sure, I drove up some of the side roads. I believe the access to the monopine is off Route 40, but I didn't access the site and I didn't see it on any of the residential or commercial properties. I think that's east of Route 40 when I drove through those neighborhoods. So while it's still a monopine, its location is a bit different from this application, being that it's not directly adjacent to houses that don't have mature vegetation around them. I don't know if any of the other members got to see any of the other towers, and there was one mentioned in Half Moon, or 2 in Half Moon, and the one on Route 40. Having heard no other comments, would somebody like to table this application to the first meeting of the month of July? Mr. Polito, did we lose all the other members of the planning board?
This is Member Henderson. I'll make the motion.
Thank you.
Member
I don't know that we need a roll call vote, but we'll take one just in case. Mr. Golden, could you please call a roll call vote?
Member Henderson.
Member Henderson, aye.
Member Krieger.
Member Krieger, aye.
Member Manello.
Member Manello, aye.
Member Oster. Just we lost the audio again. Member Peterson is absent. Member Stancliffe.
Member Stancliffe, aye.
Member Tarbox.
Member Tarbox, aye.
Okay, so if you could address those comments and work with the attorney and engineer regarding the market study. Move you on to the next meeting, first meeting of the month of July.
This is Chuck from the building department. That meeting will be July 2nd.
Thank you.
And this is Allison Phillips. We will coordinate with the attorney and get you response to those follow-up comments.
Acting Chair Stancliffe, thank you. Is there any new issues for the board?
Oh, we have no new, this is Chuck from the building department. We have no new business.
Acting Chair Stancliffe, thank you. Attorney Gilchrist, was there any comments back from the applicant for the Brunswick Hoosick Street project behind Planet Fitness?
No further submissions at this time. The applicant on that project did submit a variance application to the Zoning Board of Appeals on a parking area near the proposed Kentucky Fried Chicken. That does remain pending, and we're looking at a few issues in connection with that variance application.
Acting Chair Stancliffe, thank you. If there's no other comments, we'll entertain the motion.
This is Member Henderson. I'd just like to thank you, Linda, for stepping in and running the meeting tonight. I know we're all experiencing, well, most of us are, well, some of us are experiencing technical difficulties, and this is not easy in this format. And I'd just like to say thank you for taking over when Russ faded.
You're welcome. So does that mean you're going to make the motion to adjourn?
Attorney Gilchrist here. Before you adjourn, Acting Chair Stancliffe, just to confirm the July 2 agenda for the members, there are 2 public hearings that are noticed for that meeting, the Galavan minor subdivision as well as the Courier special use permit. And from tonight's meeting, the Farrell special use permit and site plan, as well as the Blue Sky Tower application. I think that's the entirety of the July 2nd agenda.
Acting Chair Stancliffe, thank you. Attorney Gilchrist.
So, Member Tarbox. I drove by the Galavan property. There's quite a bit of wetlands, more than I thought was there, on adjacent to the road. I'm just concerned about the 100-foot setback interfering with the proposed lots. When you go from the pond, it's visible, then there's a high spot. And then from that high spot to the Goodell house, there's quite a stretch, maybe a couple 100 feet, that's standing water. That's part of the swamp. So I think we have to make sure that the DEC questions are answered on that property.
Acting Chair Stancliffe, since I'm recused on that application, I think somebody else should step in, perhaps.
Well, for purpose of this meeting, Attorney Gilchrist here, we'll just note that that comment's been raised, that will be reviewed and looked at by Mr. Bonesteel. And I'm sure comments may come in on that on the public hearing on the 2nd. So it's noted for the record.
Acting Chair Stancliff, thank you. Any other comments? If not, we'll entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Member Tarbox, I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Acting Chair Stancliff, do we have a second?
I'll second that. Member Henderson, I'll second that.
Acting Chair Stancliff, Mr. Golden, please call the roll call. And you're muted, please.
Sorry about that. Chuck for the building department, Member Henderson.
Member Henderson, aye.
Member Krieger.
Member Krieger, aye.
Member Manello.
Member Manello, aye.
Member Oster. Member Peterson absent. Member Stancliff.
Member Stancliff, aye.
Member Tarbox.
Member Tarbox, aye.
The motion passes.
Thank you all. See you in a few weeks.
Yep, thank you.
Good night, everyone.
Thanks, Pat.